Okay, tonight we're talking about arthritis and related symptoms. The only reason why we talk about symptoms in these seminars is because I want to give you a good reason for making changes or adjustments in your lifestyle. And arthritis, some of the same causes of arthritis is gout, kidney stones, gallstones, spurs, calcium deposits. You have bursitis along with your arthritis, and there's all kinds of arthritises that you can get and so on. And there's a common denominator that opens up your bodies to this type of symptom. And what we want to do is learn to deal with the cause. And like I say, with everything, like we talk about cancer or diabetes or whatever, the cause is a poor lifestyle. In other words, our lifestyle is not the kind that the body needs to do its job. We start out by saying that our Creator did a good job when He made this body. So we can't blame Him. And the Father's Son came and destroyed the works of the devil, so we can't blame Him. Oh, me. Who are we going to blame? Oh, it's my relatives. That's who it is. Oh, it's my kids. They're driving me crazy.
The weather.
It's the weather, yeah. Eventually, we're going to have to come to the place where we say, it's me, and I'm going to take the responsibility as far as my lifestyle is concerned. And until we come to that place, we're never going to get the health that we need that's potentially ours. And not just for a few years, but for 120 years potential. That's why a lot of people don't want to live very long, because they, I don't want to be crippled and blind and deaf or, whatever. Can't remember things, stuff like that. What's the use of being around if that's all you got to live with, right? So that's one of these. There's very few people that die of arthritis as a immediate threat. But arthritis is dreaded because you just can't do nothing without pain, And that's kind of a bad deal, And so we want to talk about what it is, go over some of the symptoms a little bit, and tell a little bit about what causes them, and then what adjustments we can make in our lifestyle that correct it. One of the things we need to realize is that it takes 9, 10, sometimes 12 years before the symptoms of arthritis show up, and a lot of times even stones and gallstones and kidney stones and things like that. It takes a lot of years for the body to break down before those symptoms begin to show up. And so there's, just like it takes a long time to get rid of the problem, to get the problem, it takes a long time to get rid of the problem. And even when the symptoms are gone, you still got a lot of years to get your body back into shape, depending on your age, before you really have arrived. Because when you gets as far as arthritis, you've got a lot of deterioration that takes time to rebuild those deteriorated areas. And this is my biggest problem in working with people with arthritis. They're not patient enough. They want a quick fix. And whenever you give a quick fix that helps the symptoms in a hurry, you're always adding to the cause. You're supporting the cause of the problem, even though the symptoms are alleviated to a degree. So we all understand more of that when we get into what it is, okay? So we all know what arthritis is, right? They give sometimes different names to it depending on where it takes place in your body. Did you know your colon can be arthritic? You know what they give to that? Colitis. All your itises. You could have a divic, where you got a pocket in your colon. Well, that's an arthritic bulge sticking out there. So they call it's the same thing.
It's called diverticulitis.
Right, itis. All your itises are the same as arthritis. It just they give different names because it's in different places.
Hemorrhoid would be a different thing, though, wouldn't it?
Well, you can have an itis in there too. You know, inflammation. So your ears can be arthritic. Your eyes can be arthritic.
What
Yeah.
is it in your eye? In your ears?
Well, your ears, I don't know what they call on that. There's most of those infection type things. Sometimes it can be nerve hearing problems, or it can be your ear drum there could be arthritic and not be out of shape, and that would cause the hearing problems. You got all kinds of eye distortions. You know, see, usually there's a distortion. There's a change in the way it looks when arthritic gets in there. And of course, the extremes are when your hands, you know, they just get bent out of shape. You know, it starts with just a little bit of soreness, then achiness. See, and then it can get to where it actually gets deformed. And that can happen anywhere in your body. A lot of people's colons that way. If you ever looked at most people's colons and saw the shapes of the colon, you'd see how arthritic it can get. That's a big problem with bowel eliminations then, see. And so different parts of our body can have these different types of symptoms. So arthritis usually means that it's taking place in its common sense. It's taking place in between your joints and your muscle. Okay? It's more leading towards the joint than the muscle. All right? And then you've got others in between there that are dealing more with the nerves. And then when it gets into the muscles rather than the bone, they call that bursitis. All right? So those are the two general things there. Then you've got, when it takes place in the kidneys, you've got kidney stones forming. When that takes place in your gallbladder, and your gallbladder gets stretched and out of, then you've got gallstones forming. And also it's gravel, they call it gravel in the gallbladder. If this cause gets a hold of your bones, it causes you to lose density in your bone. What do they call that? Osteoporosis. Same cause. Same cause that causes arthritis, bursitis, kidney stones, gallstones is osteoporosis. All right? So what we got to find out is what is there in our lifestyle that's letting our body be vulnerable to these types of symptoms. All right? Are you ready?
Yep, ready.
You need any more definitions of these symptoms? Because I want to make sure you get rid of the fear of these symptoms. Fear can cause a lot of these symptoms. Now, there's three basic areas. Probably the lack of spiritual or mental and emotional problems have more to do with arthritis than any other symptom that you can have. Just like it says in the scriptures, what dries up the bones? Besides worry. Bitterness. Bitterness will dry up your bones. Anger. All these negative emotions make your body chemistry change in such a way that it leads to these symptoms eventually.
It makes you want acid, right?
You're taking away my answer. Well, she's answered. I'll see you next time. No. Right. She's already figured it out. She's heard me so many times. But all of these have the same common denominator. And what we want to do is zero in on that. There's basically two reasons for these symptoms or causes. One is acid, and one is yeast problems or bacteria, parasite problems. All right? It's going to be one or the other. Now, let's take the mental and emotional problems can add to either one of these, can be supportive to either one of these. When you're under a lot of stress, which mental and emotional problems do cause, when you're under a lot of stress, what happens to you? Well, you lose oxygen, right? You get tight, and you don't have as much oxygen available to you. What keeps yeast and bacteria out of your body? Oxygen. There is no virus, there's no yeast, there's no bacteria of any type that can live in oxygen. It's impossible. Even AIDS virus can't live in oxygen. So oxygen is your first line of defense. You can't have pain anywhere in your body if you have enough oxygen. Impossible.
So that's why they say if you're in perfect health, you don't have pain.
Right.
You won't feel pain.
Right. So the key is oxygen. What interferes with oxygen? Well, if yeast is in your body or parasites in your body, that's one indication you don't have enough oxygen. But also the other reason is when you're acid. When your pH of your overall body chemistry is too acid, your body doesn't pick up the oxygen. Okay? And so the end result is that your body has to do something about this particular situation. Now, why is it that the body is settling in your joints, your kidneys, or your muscles and places like that? Why is this acid in your body? Your blood has to stay alkaline. If your blood turns acid, a pH of 7, your blood's got to stay usually around 7.1 or up to about 7.3 or 4, depending on different people's body chemistry. But if that pH of your blood goes acid, you're dead. Period. There's no exceptions. So your body has to, at all costs, keep your blood alkaline. And if it can do that with no sweat, you can't have arthritis. There's no way. You can't build up stones and gravel. Now, if you get too alkaline, you could. Okay? If your blood got too alkaline, you could build up stones also and gravel. So again, it's balance. It's not one is better than the other. It needs to be within a very narrow range. But when you go to the acid range, then you don't pick up oxygen because of that, which can lead to yeast problems too in certain parts of your body. Now, why is that? Okay, here the blood has to stay alkaline, and you're putting too many acid things through your lifestyle of, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? But through your lifestyle, too much acid is being introduced into your body, and it can't keep up. Can't get it out. The kidneys have the responsibility of keeping the blood alkaline. So the kidney, all the blood flows through your kidneys. It filters out what it doesn't need in the blood and lets go out through the bladder what the body needs to get rid of. But its main goal is to keep that blood just right. Now let's say the kidney can't keep up. What's it going to do with that acid? It can't let it stay in the blood. Where's it going to put it?
Other parts of the body.
Other parts of the body. What do you think is the safest place to put this acid?
Your extremities.
Which would be, you'd want to get them away from the vital organs, right? Well, you sure wouldn't want to get an arthritic heart, right?
So it goes to your extremities.
Right. So so it has to go out here somewhere. Your hands are quite a ways from your vital organs, your feet, your ankles. Isn't that where you swell first or get inflammation first? Your joints in your leg and your elbow. See, if you have to store the acid, where are we going to put it? We want to keep it as far away from the blood system, the main pool of the blood as we can, right? But see, so, I guess I got all this acid, got to get rid of it. Where shall we put that? Well, let's put it in the hips. And they get a little bit swollen and one leg pulls out, and then you need to get an adjustment. But after a while, that hip joint starts deteriorating. Why? Because, see, acid breaks down the oils that lubricate. See, all of your body has lubrication. The mucous membranes lubricate and protect your tissues and cells with a lubricant. That's very strong. It'll protect you against acid that goes down to pH of 1 or less in your stomach. Or else the acid in your stomach which is a pH of 1, which will eat up through this TV, would eat up this TV. It won't go through your stomach and give you an ulcer. Why? Because the mucous membranes line it and protect it. But after a while, acid coming in all the time, and then your mucous membranes don't get the goodies that they need to make that good lubricant to protect you, then it breaks through and it starts eating away at your flesh, literally. Starts dissolving it. Okay? I mean, you can put calcium, like stick one of your soup bones in some vinegar and see how long that bone's going to stay a bone. Vinegar, which is a pH of 3.5, dissolves calcium. So if you get too much acid in your body, it can't get it out, and it goes to the bones, don't you think it's going to dissolve it? Sure. And that's osteo, yeah. And it's arthritis, because that hurts if it hits the nerves. Doesn't that hurt? You know, people, it hurts. And don't you think if that gets into the bones and in that flesh and it starts eating away, don't you think it's going to deform things? That acid? I mean, it's burning it. But if there was lubricant still in there, it wouldn't do that, see? But that acid's got to go someplace. Okay? So extreme uric acid is a tremendous acid. That's probably the most acid of anything in your body is uric acid. And that's what gout is made out of. If anybody's had a gout symptom, I mean, that's like acid just shooting into the joint and just burning a hole in it, Gout is a tremendously acid. And boy, if it hits you, you're hurting. Because it just comes all at once. It's not a gradual process. It just hits. The body says, this gout's going to get in the blood and it's going to make us acid and we're dead if we don't dump this in a hurry. And so it goes and dumps it, and wherever it does it, you're hurting. Okay, and that's too much uric acid, and that comes from too much protein. Especially shrimp, lobster, crab, tuna, catfish. Those scavengers that are mentioned in the scriptures, saying you're not supposed to eat them because they're too acid. Extremely acid. They break down too quickly and your body can't deal with that uric acid that's going to come from that. Can't break it down quick, can't handle it quick enough. Just like a snake bite. What is a snake bite? It's nothing but concentrated protein. That's what a snake venom is. So you get bit by a snake, you're just getting too much protein. Just like, remember when they had all that protein, liquid proteins on the market? Killing people. They took them off in a hurry. Your powdered protein does the same thing, only slower. Okay? See, it's stimulating. They use it to lose weight. What weight are you losing when you eat too much protein? You're losing water. Why? Because that's so acid, the body has to pull water wherever it can get it to try to neutralize that acid, so you lose weight.
That's not a good way then.
No. And then others use protein to gain weight, gain muscle. So all they're doing is putting stuffing in there. Where do we put this protein? Well, we'll stuff it in there, make that vein bulge, and push that muscle up, see? So either way, so you're hurting your body. It's manipulation, and you're building up excess acid, and it's just a matter of time, and you're going to end up with sore joints and muscles. Or nerves, if it hits the nerves. It'll go either way, okay? And it depends on, usually, it's the weakest area. Where do you think of where all the spine problems are coming from? Don't you have slip discs? Don't you have different parts deteriorating in the spine and fusing together, and then you try to go get some relief. What's doing that? Well, the acid gets in there, it'll dissolve the oils that protect it, and once that spinal fluid or oils get out, then it starts getting distorted. And so then you got your curves in there, right? You got all different types of different shapes that your colon or your spine can get into. And it can go up to the neck, and a lot of people have TMJ problems. See, because the acid gets up here and deteriorates the TMJ and the joint. So the jaw hooking to the skull, it's not lubricated enough to, so you get cracking and stuff like that, And then your bite's not good. And then that causes problems too with all the systems. So you see, that acid is your enemy. Because when your mucous membranes break down that protect you with a lubricant, then that acid is going to do harm. And once that starts breaking that down, you're in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. It's just a matter of time. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have any symptoms. I take like vitamin C, and I don't have any, when you have symptoms. I take vitamin C. Well, why do they give aspirin to people who have arthritic symptoms? Right. How does it thin out the blood? It makes them acid. So you make a person more acid, it thins the blood.
The more acid, the worse it's going to be.
But see, you're feeding the problem. You're thinning the blood, making the circulation get around more, so it helps alleviate the symptoms. But you're adding more acid. See, and we've got to go to the alkaline side. So aspirin and Motrin and all these different drugs, they have an acid reaction to the system. Okay? And that's not dealing with the cause. It's really increasing the reason for that being the problem. Okay? So it's very important to not try to take supplementation or drugs or foods that make you feel better.
You're contributing to the problem.
Right. You're adding to the cause and not dealing with you're dealing with the symptom. We got to get away from symptoms. I'm talking about them so like you can deal with them and hit them head on and not fear the symptoms, but see what you can do in your lifestyle to help the body deal with the cause. Okay? So acid is a big problem, and when your kidneys can't keep up with it, it has to store it somewhere. And it's a matter of years before that breaks down, the protective lubricants break down, but it's going to take place. And there is no respecter of persons. And the longer you have had the symptoms, the longer it's going to take to get back. But you can get back. You might have to work at it for 5 years if you've been with the symptoms, 5, 6, 10 years.
Even with the TMJ problem?
Even the TMJ problem. See, you've got to get rid of the acid that's up there. You got to get the lubricants back up there. Then the body has to rebuild the joints there, the TMJ joint. See, there is no quick fix. And it didn't happen overnight, and you've got to make up your mind, okay, body, I'm going to give you what you need until the job's done, and I'm going to keep it that way. If you have that type of determination, take that responsibility, then your body will get the point across that you're serious, it'll work with you tremendously, and it'll take half the time. But if you're complaining about, how long do I have to keep doing this? Body says, yeah, I'm tired of putting up with your negative attitude. We might as well just forget this whole thing. So that's the way the body reacts. Our biggest problem is right here. No. It's what we're saying, See, we should be saying to the body, this is good for you. Learn to like it. See? It's good for you. Quit arguing with me. You keep putting those symptoms, I'll eat more of it. You know? So see, you gotta tell your body what you want. It knows what to do. It's been programmed, but we've programmed we got a lot of dirty programs in there. Okay? Some of the things we put in our body are nasty programs. All right? And we've got to replace those programs with something that's right for the body according to our Creator's program. Because He made it beautifully. It's got the right program, but it's got all this extra information that's confused it, and we got to get that out and get that other program working again and give it what it needs to work with. All right? So that's our responsibility, and it takes a lifestyle adjustment. That means good food, good vitamins and minerals, good rest, good water, and good breathing exercises. Now, those are the main. Now, what is the cause of the acid? Where does the acid come from? It comes from negative attitudes.
What was that?
Negative attitudes.
Oh,
Okay? Lack of hope and purpose in your life. You're kind of on the fence. I don't know where I should go this way or that way. Oh, I just don't know what to do. You're just making your body acid. Okay? It's better to make a decision and it be wrong and you change it because you found out it's wrong. And you're, well, I just don't know what to do. Procrastination is the most acid thing you can do. I'll start tomorrow. Maybe it would be better. Oh, if I just knew, if I just had more information, I just knew. And that's why there's a lot of people that are still in school. It's their whole life they've been in school. Their job is learning, but they never use what they're learning for anything. It's very acid. So you got to avoid, make decisions. Don't be afraid to make decisions. Give it your best, get as much knowledge, seek counsel, get multitude of witnesses. Counselors is good. But ultimately you're going to have to make a decision. Make it and get on. And if it turns out to be wrong, you'll know it and you learn something, didn't you? But if you never tried it, you're always, I wonder if I'd have tried that. I wonder if it would have worked. Boy, that's stressful to the body. It just hates stuff like that. It hates indecision. It'd rather you get tough with it and be wrong than just sit there and not say anything other than complain. And the body's saying, well, make up your mind. Do something. Quit complaining. You're running me down, making me tired. I got all this acid. Where am I going to put it? You know people like that, right? Okay. So, that's one of the things that we need to deal with. And there's a lot of stresses that we get into trouble on. A lot of times we're stressed because of our lifestyle of work. We have too many hats on. That makes us too active.